What is up, everybody, and welcome to Odyssey Racing League's rookie slash GT4 class on Wednesday night. We are racing tonight in Zolder. That is actually in Belgium, believe it or not, for those who don't know. So we have a pretty good, healthy class of GT4s and GT3s. Looks like we got 5 GT3s and 6 GT4 class cars tonight. So qualifying will be starting here momentarily. So let's just go ahead and wait for qualifying to actually start. And get going. So I guess while I'm waiting here, we can discuss a few of the things that are going on. Let's just talk about our Patreon or whatever supporters. We have 3 Patreon supporters. I'm going to repeat it a couple times through the night here, but we have 3 of them. It's going to be Neil Baravotes, Joel Price, and Joe Kaiser. So those are 3 of our supporters here for our Patreon here. And let me get the stream going and ready to rock and roll for us here. So this is going to be starting on qualifying here. So sorry I missed about 25 seconds for you guys there. I wasn't clicking the right button. But here we go. So we got a couple of the GT4 cars on the track here. We looking like we got Robbie Daniel and is that Bonus Charles there in front of him? I believe so. Yeah, it is Bonus. All right. Both in that ugly Janetta. Let's go back to full screen here. Sorry about that, guys. I just wanted to make sure I had the audio right because it was sounding very loud for me. But I hope you guys are having a wonderful week here. So this is actually a little tight, nimble track. A lot of heavy braking zones, a couple big chicanes. A lot of drivers will probably get caught out here. Let's actually go into an in-car view of Bonus here. Let's go see how this actually is. So he's just going through turn 1 here. A couple tricky corners. This long right-hander here. Getting the timing down correctly and getting back onto the power for this short little straight that's coming up is impervious to make sure you get that here for turn 4. I'm not going to try naming these names, Lucian, Betancourt, or whatever. So back onto the back straight here. They're going to want to brake right. Well, these are GT4s, but you want to brake right about a little past the 100 mark. This is the first chicane, which might catch a lot of guys off. Hitting that right-handed curb there could toss your car, unsettle it immensely, into this chicane, which is another one. I'm assuming we're maybe not tonight, but tomorrow night's race there might be a few cars that get caught off guard with the track limits. So we'll see how that affects these guys during this race. So I'm trying to get my headset figured out so I can actually hear myself talk and don't sound so terrible. Hey. It's not a lawnmower. It's a rider. It's a lawn tractor. How you doing, Derek? All right. All right. Let's get back to the TV here. Let's see. Let's go to this GT3 class here. So we got Barcy here in his Mercedes. I don't know who that was he was passing there in the Camaro, the Nebraska Cornhuskers University. It's not Pat, is it? Nope. It's Drew Jensen. There we go. So Barcy here is a newcomer. I haven't seen him racing with us yet, so there you go. Running a 131.597. I just jumped online right before the server opened up and ran a little couple laps here. I did not get to run in our Porsche Cup class that started or runs on Monday nights. I wasn't able to run that this week, but you like to use that for practice. But unfortunately, things happen, and yeah, I wanted to get some laps in. So tomorrow's going to be a rush to get some laps in before the race starts. So it's a pretty anime setup there. We got a yellow flag on the track here for Bonus Charles. I don't know why, but let's go back up here. But as we see Gary catching onto the back of Pat here. Hopefully it doesn't slow him down too terribly much. It looks like they're both on a flying lap. But you know what I just not realized until now? How much bigger that Mercedes is compared to that Porsche. All right. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put our stream link up. I'm all discombobulated right now, guys. I'm sorry. Bear with me. All right, so with 7.5 minutes to go in qualifying here, we still have... It looks like Ian Ludscombe is actually taking the pole position away in his BMW, followed by Barcy in the Mercedes. About 0.3 of a second separate them, roughly. Is that correct? 138.95 versus a 135.97. That doesn't make sense. So yeah, 0.7 of a second difference between the two. Lopez coming in P3 right there with a 32.3. Porara in P4 with a 33.042, followed by Kirill in his Ferrari. But it looks like Bonus has been putting the bonus hours in as Eric Pereira has went off the track there a little bit. Let's see. I'm trying to see. We're gonna jump to Paul Marriage or Mirage here in the Alpine. He's in P7 currently, P2 in the class. He's actually on a purple lap for his class at 0.6 of a second up. So passing the start-finish line now, he might be sitting on provisional pole in the GT4 class, and he does. He takes pole by 0.3 of a second almost. Actually, 0.3 of a second. So good for him. So we got Paul Marriage, a Mirage. I'm not sure. He told me how to pronounce it once, and I totally forgot. Sorry, Paul. But there you go. we got to get what's going on with Steve Henson here and his McLaren still sitting down there in P13 out of the 14 cars total. I don't know why his livery's not showing up either. I did do a livery update, so everything should be there, guys. I don't know why it's not going there, but I actually quite enjoy this track. It's a narrow, tight track, very congested. So it's to me, there's a lot more racing going on, especially on bigger fields. But when you got 25, 30 cars on there, it's definitely a lot of fun because there's just constantly action going on the track. So there we go. Steve Henson jumps up to P5 overall. Good for him with a 133.262. So that's a personal best for him. Yeah, Daniel. Some of the curbs are bigger than that Alpine. That's for sure. Let's see. So our pole sitter now again is Gary Barcy. In the Mercedes, he just ran a 133.45. That's faster than me. So some of these rookie guys can be moving up pretty quick. Like, I wonder where you got that livery from. All right, so 4.5 minutes going to qualifying. Our top 3 in GT3 classes: Barcy, Luscombe, and Lopez. Top 3 in the GT4 classes: Marriage, Charles, and Drew Jensen. They're in P3 for them, followed by Robbie Daniel, Helgert, Joel Price, Johnny DeMarchi, and Chase Tapper. Running up the GT4 class for us tonight. The GT3 class. Ooh, we got a yellow flag. What do we got here? He must have just slowed down. Well, he does have some damage to his front splitter there, or is that paint? I'm not quite sure if that's paint or if that's actually damage. It's damage because look at the front bumper there. So he does look like he's nursing some damage on his car. But we do. Chase is back here in this Porsche in the GT4 class. He's definitely way off pace. Way off pace. 7 seconds. Oh, we're in a drifting competition here. Way to hold it together there, Chase. Let's see, we're trying to see anybody. Paul Marriage was purple. Now he's purple again. So him and Bonus Charles are battling it out for the P1 position in the GT4 class. As you see, Robbie Daniel right there in front of Paul. Paul's still at 1/10 of a second up on his purple lap. So this is not only a personal best, but this is a pole position, bettering his pole position at the moment. So he has bettered his pole position. We're going to go to Steve Henson here. He's 4/10 up on his lap, almost a half second up on his personal best lap running in the green. Let's see if he's able to keep this together through the whole lap there. As you can see, was that Kirill off the track there in this Lamborghini, or not Lamborghini, Ferrari, another pasta rocket. But yeah. It's going to be interesting, especially with a large field. If you have like 20, 25 cars or so, like tomorrow night possibly, 30 cars, just working your way through traffic throughout the whole race and trying to protect your tires throughout the race is going to be a feat on its own, working your way not only through the traffic but protecting your tires so you don't wear them out, because there's a lot of corners. For instance, turn 1 and turn 2 are very load-bearing on these cars. You'll see right here, you're turning a lot into and putting a lot of pressure on those left side tires on the car itself. So then you got the 2 chicanes where one is much faster than the other, but you're just putting so much lateral force on these tires, and working with all that traffic is going to be interesting tomorrow. And not only tomorrow, but tonight. But with 14 cars on track tonight, we're probably going to see a decent amount of it, especially when the GT... Oh, you got a little bit of the curb there. That's the curb that Daniel was talking about himself being bigger than the Alpines, but... One minute to go in qualifying. We have 11 of the 14 cars out on the track as we speak, with Marriage, Pat Helgert, and Luscombe sitting in the pits right now. I don't think they're going to be able to get out of the pits to get a lap in. Yeah, they're just hanging out. They're not leaving. So they seem to be content with their times in the pits right now. So Barcy sitting on pole. He is quite a bit down, but he's got another 40 seconds before he'll get one more lap in. So if he's see how he does in the first two sectors here. Let's go to the helicam on Barcy here. See how he's doing on his time. He's 1/10 down, 2/10, 3/10 down on his time, 4/10 down, half a second. Dave Lopez there did pop up in the green. Yeah, he's green again. So we're going to jump to Dave Lopez here in a second here to see how he's going to be doing. Where is he currently at? He's on turn 2 at the moment. Trying to find people that are getting good times. Johnny DeMarchi's 6/10 up on his time. I'm sorry, I just had a very loud noise come over my house. Apparently the U.S. Army thinks it's a good idea to fly Blackhawks. A little nerve-wracking when you hear rumbling and your house starts shaking a little bit. But turn 1, Ersta, as we see Johnny pulling off to the side there in his Camaro. So that is going to end it for qualifying for us here. We have a Barcy, Luscombe, Lopez, your top 3 in GT3, followed by your GT4 leaders in Marriage, Charles, and Jensen. So we'll be right back, guys. I'm just going to go to intermission here and wait for the qualifying server to switch over to the race, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so let's look at our starting lineup for tonight's race with 2 minutes to go before the session starts. We have Gary Barcy in P1 in his Mercedes, AMG GT3 in P2, Ian Lutzcombe in the BMW M4, Dave Lopez, I like that livery, Dave, that looks sharp as all can be, in the McLaren 720S Evo, Eric Pereira in the Ferrari 296, Steve Henson also in a McLaren, followed by Kirill in his Ferrari. Now we're getting into the GT4 class. That was P6 for Kirill. P1 in GT4 is going to be Paul Marriage, followed by Bonus Charles in his Jannetta, Drew Jensen in his Nebraska University, Cornhuskers GT4 Camaro, followed by Robbie Daniel in his Jannetta, Pet Helgert in his Porsche Cayman, Johnny DeMarchi in his Camaro, Joel Price in his Fanatec GT4 Camaro, and rounding out our field in P14 is Chase Tapper in his Porsche Cayman. So that is your starting lineup for today here, and we're going to go ahead and jump into the view above. The detail is actually insane, though. For a video game, you know, a lot of this stuff they could have just easily got rid of. Like, if we just go on the inside, just look in the computer box and fire and safety. I mean, they actually go all the depth on this. This is pretty impressive. Anyways, sorry, guys. Just kind of wanted to show it here. So we're going to stick with this here on the opening lap and watch as the cars go around so we can kind of keep an eye out on the track and what is going on with the cars on the track with the traffic. So it just gives us a little better view of that. You know, I wonder what the... You know what? I lied. Let me see what the heli cam looks like. Yeah, it's actually better. Never mind. We'll use the heli cam. So it gives us a good idea of seeing how everything will unfold going into turn one, which is not necessarily a hard braking like turn one was last week at the Nürburgring, or even, goodness gracious, Monza, where you have the chicane right there where it tends to turn into a bowling alley. So this one should be much easier. I'm not drooling over the Alpine. I'm just saying I thought it was pretty cool when you could actually see all that stuff. They could easily have just kind of glossed over all that. So they could have done a little better. You could have been like Ferrari fans, you know, crying on the sides and whatnot. But for the most part, the detail in the game is quite there, from the marbles and the rubbering in on the track, and it's pretty darn good. I mean, really, we could have remembered the games back in the mid-2000s and how bad they were compared to this, so... So, guys, everybody in the chat room, what is your prediction on today's race? Who do you think is going to win GT4? Who do you think is going to win GT3 class overall? My betting is going to be Bonus Charles on the GT4. I'm going to say Ian Ludscombe on the GT3, so we're going to go double deuce. And I think that Ludscombe and Charles are going to be our winners in each class. The surprise of the day, I'm going to say the surprise of the day is going to be... let's go with somebody new. Let's say Pereira. I say Pereira's going to finish on the podium. I know there's only going to be one spot up, but with such a small track and then fighting your way through the GT4 traffic here pretty soon is going to be something for sure. Yeah, I want to see everybody make it through the first lap clean. You'd be lying to yourself if you think otherwise. Yeah, carnage is cool at all initially, but... You know, everybody's doing this for fun. We're not getting paid for it, so, you know, I'd rather see everybody finishing out the race and having a good, clean race versus, you know, having a massive pile up of cars and people fighting damage and dropping out of the race. So, more cars means more action, means more fun for everybody involved here. I do see we're missing our favorite German here. De Rosa's not racing tonight, so he and Robbie cannot go at it, but... still looks like we're going to have a pretty good race. As we can see, the cars getting lined up 2 by 2 now. Got the order to go side by side. Again, this is for those who are new to Odyssey Racing League. We do a mandatory pit stop. It's fuel only. You only need to put 1 liter of fuel in to finish out your pit stop. Tires are not mandatory. You can change your tires if you'd like. But just that forewarned, that is a 30-second basic penalty to do tires. So 45-minute race, there's no reason to do it. So as we're coming down to the start-finish line to get guard, buckle your belts tight, boys and girls. Let's go green. Let's go racing. We are running wild here in Zolder in Belgium. As they go to turn one, it looks like Ian Ludscombe dives and takes... Oh, Ian's off the track. We got a few cars off the track. Oh, a massive accident up front there. We got all kinds of carnage. That was just absolutely awful. That took out I mean, the whole crowd's there. Everybody's back here. Let's see. Bonus made it through. Eric Pereira made it through. Yep, we are going to restart this race. Good job, Derek. You jinxed us. But that is, the sad part is I can't now even see the replay. So let me, I want to save that. Oh, I can't even save it. No. What's up, Cryo? It was Watkins Glen all over again with the Porsche Cup cars. All right, guys. So let's have a clean start to the race. Please. That'd be really nice. So, anyways, now that we got another 2 minutes plus the minute and, well, no, basically 4 minutes before the race starts. So, what is anybody else's predictions? Turn 1 carnage again. I mean, if I could actually go back and do it, I wish I would have hit save right away. I can't even see the replay. So my plan was just to, while we were waiting the next 4 minutes for this race to start again, to see what happened. But from the gist of it, it looks like Ian Lutzcombe dove in deep into turn 1 and bumped into the back of Barcy there. Barcy went sideways. He got absolutely teed off on by, I think it was Mariage. I mean, the whole crew was toast. Everybody got just absolutely smoked. So, so 9 seconds to go before the start of this session. We got another warm-up lap here, so we have to wait a little bit. Okay. You had your lunch break, Cryo? Okay. Here we go. Let's go to the heli daily cam here, guys, so we can kind of try to see what's all going on in the... We're going to stay with bonus this time. You know, let's go. Alright, so as we're going into turn 12 out of the 14 turns, get ready to go on this front stretch and see what happens. I mean, Ian's got the outside line, which is not the good line here at the start of this race. You can't win the race in the first corner. I mean, I guess you technically could, but we're going to go back green here in a second, so let's go green, let's go racing. Let's see who learned their lesson, like Derek says. And going into turn 1, we do look like we got a couple people actually a lot smoother through this corner here. Oh, goodness. Lutzcombe still has the lead, but hard on the brakes. It looks like he pushed Pereira off a little bit to avoid the incident there as Lutzcombe is taking the lead. We have Barcy falling back to 4th place, almost to 5th place there. Goodness gracious. But it looks like everybody's made it through there clean. That's a good start to our race here. But we got Barcy fell all the way back to 4th place. He's actually going to lose to 5th place here to Kirill. We see the pass on the screen as we speak. He has not had a good start to this race. It's better than last race, that's for sure. But he is currently in the P5 position, only 0.4 of a second separate between him and Hansen. The GT4 class, Mariage is still leading the pack here, followed by Charles and Daniel, with DeMarchi in P4 of GT4 class. But we're going to jump back up here to the P1, the battle for the lead of this race. You know what, I'm going to stay in the middle of this pack here between these two cars because we got quite a bit of action going on up front. There's some corners that definitely catch people out. It looks like let's go getting some curves, get a bad exit out of there, which is going to open the door for Pereira. Side by side coming down, they bump the defenders there onto the front stretch. Still side by side going into turn 1, leading at the lap 1 was actually Eric Pereira going into turn 1. Looks like Ian Lutzcombe had the inside line, but now he's on the outside. He's going to have to do the old switcheroo to get back into the proper position. But Pereira is not giving up that position. They are still side by side, 3 corners into this lap number 2 with Dave Lopez right on the rear bumper, both of them trying to figure out which way he needs to go. Pereira has taken the lead away from Lutzcombe. Lutzcombe's not giving it up too easily. He was looking like he was going to dive to the inside. We got 2 wide, almost 4 wide here onto the straight number 1, back straight I would call it, but Ian Lutzcombe loses a position. Oh my goodness, Dave Lopez, where'd he go? I'm trying to click on Dave. Dave overshot the corner there. Let's go back 10 seconds so we can see it here, but Dave just was right in the back of him, lost the braking point, looks like, went going beaching. Bring your beach towels down and get ready for a race there. So that actually has crushed Dave Lopez. I put him down into the overall P13 position. So our battle up here in GT4, as I click on it, Johnny's not going to be pleased with me here because that is going to look like I gave him a commentator's curse, but he dove on the inside of Joel Price there in the was this first chicane, turn 7, the Villeneuve chicane, got himself out of sorts. That has put him down into the last position of the race. Joel Price is up there in P8. That is also P3 for the final podium position for the GT4 class. Let's see whose car is it. 383. Is that him? Let's see. Okay. That did not do what I wanted it to do. Okay, so, alright. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I was not trying to click that button. It looks like we're stuck on a replay right now because I'm not a smart man. So another 18 seconds of this. I wish I could, stop it. But I can't. Okay, back to the action on the track here. So let's see. Bonus has got a second gap, but Lopez and Daniel. Now Lopez is a higher class in the GT3 versus the GT4, so he's working his way back up to the GT4s to get back on level playing field with his class of cars, which looks like he's what, Joel 6, we'll say 7 seconds behind. So 16 seconds behind the GT3 cars here. So as we got Henson, excuse me, and Kirill battling it out here. Kirill's got a boatload of damage as he's diving into the pits. What number is Kirill? Kirill's 91. Let's see if I can see what happened to Kirill here with the damage on his car. No damage yet, so we're going to go back just to see what happens here. Going into turn 1, and I don't know why it just kicked me back to that. So great. I was hoping to be able to show you that, guys, but it looks like it's not going to allow me to. Sorry. Wish I could help you out more, but so Kirill has finished his pit stop, or no, he has not. He is now doing his pit stop. We're going to go up here to P1, which is Eric Pereira. Surprising person of the day. This is who I chose, is Eric. I was pulling for Luke as my pick to win the race, but as right now, with 39.5 minutes to go in the race, Pereira is leading your race, followed by Lutzcombe and Barcy. Hansen, Mariage is your first GT4 in P5 overall, followed by Bonus Charles here. But we're going to go back to these guys here because this battle's... I mean, Dave is a GT3 stuck between he's in a GT4 sandwich as we speak. He's the ham and the ham sandwich. Not going to lie, I bet you Paul's not too upset about this initially at first because he was creating a bit of a gap between him and Charles. We're going to go back up here to the P2. Oh, as I say that, he goes wide. Who was that? Dave Lopez, right? Why is it not going to him? Well, okay, well, he was going wide. Anyways, we're going to go to Barcy and Lutzcombe battle here. They're within a half a second of each other, or actually 0.2 of a second of each other. My live telemetry showing 0.4 of a second separating the two of these drivers, where they got a 0.7 of a second gap to P1. So this battle for the P1 position, the total podium positions here, is heating up as we speak here in Belgium. So we have a 30-second stop-and-go beating in the pit lane for number 91, Kirill. Ouch. That'll hurt. Considering that is 1/3 of a lap. Just the 30 seconds you're sitting still, not including the time you're slowing down to go into pits and leaving the pits. That is definitely going to put a hurt on his race there. All right. I don't know if these guys are settling in and trying to feel each other out, or if they're actually trying to make a push to force someone into a mistake. But as we see, we have Pereira, Lutzcombe, Barcy up here in our P1 positions. We got a little bit of a gap. If I go back here to Pat Helgert and Drew Jensen, whoa, Helgert on 3 wheels there. He was a tricycle for a second. Him and Jensen battling it out for what position is this? It was 10th overall, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5th position. We got Bonus Charles is sitting off the track right there. You see him hanging out Alonso style. Let's see what happened to Bonus. So we're going into the chicane. He's got a GT3 on the outside of him. That's car number 91, who just mean mugs him. That's awful. I'm sorry, Bonus. I really am. Let's jump up here to the battle for the lead again. We have Lutzcombe and Barcy battling it out for P2. They're 0.3 of a second separating the two as we go back to the battle for P2. The gaps down there in the GT4s have opened up pretty good, so we got some decent gaps between those guys. But these top 3 guys are sticking right with each other. It looks like we're probably going to stick with them for a little while because that is where our action is on the track as they're turning turn 7, the Villeneuve chicane. Named after the race car driver Villeneuve, Jacques, who passed away here in a horrific accident. So the namesake. As I'm saying that, Barcy dives in, late brakes. Oh, out brakes himself, bumps Lutzcombe gets a better run out of the corner, retakes that position, but it looked like Barcy, excuse me, decided that was his chance to try to get in there and to get in the P2 position. Unsuccessful. But for the most part, no one really was harmed by that. Barcy was doing his drifting exposition on the exit of turn 14 there. It does look like he's pushing a lot harder. You can see him. He's getting a little squirrely out there on the track. Excuse me. That Bonus is sitting in the pit still. Man, I don't know if he teleported or if he drove back to the pits. I wasn't paying that much attention, so I'm not quite sure if he did or not. But we're going to go back up here to the P1 battle, P1, P2, and P3. As they're working their way, we have car number 91, which is a lap vehicle of Krill, tagging along at the back of them. Now, they're in the same class. Just Krill had that issue where he had a speeding penalty and damage from an incident earlier in the race, which has set him off track. But still, you can get some racing in. You just got to be a little bit more careful at this point. You don't want to ruin somebody else's race, especially somebody fighting for a podium, but it's okay to race them. You can battle and pass and unlap yourself. So we'll see how that affects this. But as that little battle between Barcy and Carrillo is going on, it has actually allowed Lutzcombe to get back up onto the bumper of Pereira for the P1 position. I don't know if Barcy understands that Carrillo is actually a lap vehicle and not a car on the same lap as him, and with him trying to defend that position, which actually loses you time when you're battling other cars on the track. But as we're going, we are in lap number 7 here, going into turn number 2. Sternbach corner. We see Ian Lutzcombe taking a dive on the inside. He has got the run on the inside going into turn 4. He does brake a little earlier, but they look like they're going to be on the straight. They are not going to be side by side, but they are going to be nose to tail. And that has allowed Barcy to back right up to him. You've got 0.3 of a second separating Lutzcombe and Pereira, 0.8 separating Barcy and Lutzcombe. They're neck and neck, guys. Let's just put it this way: their last laps, Lutzcombe had the fastest of the 3. They're all over the place. So mistakes are happening. They're putting a lot of pressure on one another. It's just, as you can see, Barcy has got another run on Lutzcombe here, and it's allowed Pereira himself to get a little bit of a gap of 1 second. But we got 0.3 of a second separating the two between Lutzcombe and Barcy here for the P3 position overall in our rookie class of Odyssey Racing League. Some good racing going on here, boys. Now, and Lutzcombe is going to try the undercut here. It might not be a bad thing on his part, because that is going to allow him to most likely, I'm going to look here in a few seconds when I see him start moving, allow him to possibly get in some free air and run his laps. So he's moving along now. Yeah, he's going to have a whole lot of free air. You've got no one behind him. He could have probably timed it out and came in maybe in a lap earlier, give him a little more space. But he's going to have a let's see. Oh no, excuse me. I'm sorry. I thought he already boxed. And he was already moving on. So he is going to be probably in the middle of traffic between car 169, which is Daniel, and car number 19, which is Drew Jensen, but you're both GT4 cars. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. He looks like he's going to get out in front of car number 69, which is Joel Price in the GT4. Key. Yep, he's going to be stuck up right behind him there, but it's going to be kind of key for him to get around him quick-like, because once he does get around him, he has car number 4, which is another GT4, but that is 10 seconds ahead of him. For reference, they're running about a 6 seconds a lap difference, so about a lap and a half he'll catch him, barring a mistake. if he can get by Joel quick. Now, this is for position. They're both on the same lap. In theory, Joel does not have to cede the position to him, but there's no sense of fighting. Yeah, Daniel. I mean, no, Ian didn't have any issues. He just boxed. It was a normal pit stop for him. So he didn't have any issues. He was just doing his pit stop. I think he was trying to undercut, but he's getting, unfortunately, stuck behind a GT4 here. He's got to get past him this turn. Looks like he will. And then he's got roughly 10 seconds to Paul Marriage, which there's about a 6 seconds lap difference here. So he should be able to catch him here pretty quick, like a lap and a half. And then that the key for him would be to get on and get it going, head down, excuse me, to catch up to these other positions. But we're going to jump up here to the P3 position between Dave Lopez, the battle of the McLarens, Lopez and Henson battling it out for the P3 position overall as they're going through turn number 9 to this last sharp right-handed, I don't know if you wanted to call it a hairpin or not, but it's a very tight corner. He does take the dive brakes later. He does outbrake Henson. Didn't look like Henson got a very good traction out of the corner there, which has allowed Lopez to take that position and get moving up the field. So he's got quite a bit of time. We got Barcy up here in the lead. We just missed it because Pereira is in the pits himself. I'm going to keep an eye on Pereira, car number 22, just to see where he is going to be when he gets out of the pits. The key is going to be very interesting. If he's going to be able to beat Lutzcombe himself. So Lutzcombe has got 4.5 seconds between him and Marriage. Again, different classes, so a huge pace difference between the two. Pereira is still sitting idle here in the pits in his Ferrari St. Rita's Ferrari. He is moving. Where's Lutzcombe? Lutzcombe is coming onto the front. This is going to be close. This is going to be very close. Where are they going to be at when the pits come to an end? Lutzcombe has taken the position, but yes, he has. Lutzcombe has taken the position. The undercut has worked slightly for Ian Lutzcombe here. Actually, it's worked out quite well. About a 3.5 second gap difference between the two, and that's with Lutzcombe being stuck behind some GT3 or 4 traffic. So, question is when will Barcy jump into the pits? He's got a few GT4s ahead of him. Looks like he's going to be catching 383, which is DeMarchi, and 141, which is Helgert here this lap. We do have Chase Tappert there in P12. He is off the track. He is back up and moving, but we're going to go back to Barcy here into P1 to see if he's going to take a pit stop this lap around. He's only going into turn number 3 now. He's going to get by Johnny pretty easily in that Camaro and power down the front stretch or the back stretch. So little airborne action. I went into the danger zone. I will say this. I got upgrading from a regular wheel to a DD. And just run these few laps on here, the difference you feel in the wheel from the curbs on this track alone, because it's a bumpy track, a lot of curb action going on, is quite amazing, the difference between the two. It does not look like Barcy's going to pit this lap. Interesting. So he's got an 11.7 second lead on Lopez, and Henson's got a Lopez has a 5 second lead on Henson, and then another 40 seconds there to Ian Lutzcombe. As I state that, we have cutting some corners there. Steve Henson cutting corners there in the final turn of the track. I don't wonder if he got himself a penalty for that or not. I cannot see if he's got a track limit or not for that. Sorry, I wish that was one thing that they would implement for broadcasters to see. Be nice to be able to cycle through the drivers and see that they're sitting on a certain, other than the time penalties that they'll have. It'd be nice to be able to see that on the track. So as we're seeing Henson pick his tires off the grass there, but you can see where the gaps are between currently where he's sitting on the track, who's in front, and behind him on your screen there. He's got about 6.7 seconds gap between him and Lopez. Henson is definitely beating up the suspension on that poor car. Let's go up to Barcy here as he is going through turn number 11. Is he going to dive into the pits this lap? Does not look like it. He's making good time. His last lap was a 1:31.8. Granted, Dave Lopez was a second faster than him that last lap. Henson was a 33.9. Ludscombe ran a 32. So the person that he's in theory racing at the moment is Ludscombe there in P4 because the other drivers have yet to pit. When you're running, well, a half a second lap faster than the other drivers, there's no reason to pit. So and actually, ironically, Ludscombe's actually opened up even more of a gap on Pereira there. It's 7-second gap between them. It's going to be pretty interesting. So we see Robbie diving to the left to let Barcy by him. I keep wanting to say like Gary Busey. This camera does a really good job of displaying the speed, giving you a sense of speed of how it actually is on the track as he's going into 12 turn. Jackie Ick's turn into this chicane. This is a tough chicane for me. I always struggle getting it right and trying to get the power down quick enough. So that last lap of his was a 31.852. Ludscombe ran with 31.2. So you're looking at 0.6 of a second difference now. The opposite way around for these guys. So I would like to see a little bit more these gaps close. We're going to jump to Drew Jensen here. Him and Robbie are battling it out for the P8 position. Neither one of these drivers have yet to pit yet. So that Camaro just screams, doesn't it? Yeah, we'll look from Robbie's point of view here, watching Drew just chase him down. As I say that, you see Drew going off the track back behind him there. That is not how you're supposed to do that, Drew. Let's go back 10 seconds so we can see the whole thing. We didn't. It just, unfortunately, looks like I went too far out, or not far enough, excuse me. It looks like he just outbraked himself into that corner, unfortunately. So, got Tappers off the track again. We got a yellow flag there for him. Bonus has moved his way back up to P12 overall. So, there you go. Bonus, keep battling away there. He is compared to the GT4 guy, or 3 guys, Paul. Uh-oh. You don't dare do this, Internet. Don't do it. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock. That would make sense. Oh, Lordy. But Barcy, we're going to just run through the times real quick, guys. Barcy, last lap, 32.022. Lopez, 33.2. Henson, 148, as he dives into the pits. Ludscombe ran at 31.7. So we're still 0.3 of a second difference between them. Ludscombe has now moved his way up to the P3 position overall. The first car to pit in your running order. So yeah, that's my problem, Cryo. I feel like I'm losing too much time if I don't get on the throttle fast enough, and usually you end up having too much steering angle into the wheel, which is, obviously going to let the rear end not be too pleased with that. So. I'm pulling for you, Dave. I'm pulling for you. Barcy is in the pits. Let's see where he is at comparative. I don't know if he's actually stopped and done. Yep, he's stationary right now. He is not moving. We have Ludscombe coming up right now onto the start-finish straight. We are going to have not a race because we have Barcy moving, and Ludscombe is not even into turn 1 yet. He is just entering turn 1 while Barcy is going to be entering turn 2. The gap, though, is roughly, well, it's saying 4 seconds here. I just don't know if that's quite right. 3.3 seconds difference between the two. Excuse me. Let's just see where Barcy's at. He's got 10 seconds to DeMarchi there in front of him directly on the track. It's going to be very key for him to get past, obviously, the driver in front, which is in a slower driving class, to not allow Ian to get up onto the rear bumper of him and try to pressure him. We see Kirill diving to the inside to allow Barcy by as he is trying to run away from his problems, which would be Ludscombe there directly behind him. Kirill off there, starting Kirill's Lawn Care Service of Europe, LLC. He's just trying to get out of the way, but it looks like we have a white flag for Ludscombe. Did he get caught up in that? Oh, he did. He had to smash the brakes to not hit Kirill. That stinks. Let's see if I can get the interior view. Give me the come on. Cockpit. So as you can see, we got Kirill going off the track, getting sideways. Oh my God, and you're usually flat out in that corner. The amazing part to me is you look in his mirror, you can see Robbie Daniel was right behind him too. Nearly ran into the back of Ludscombe. I do feel awful for you, Ian. It does look like that you're just unfortunately a passenger in that situation, trying to avoid an issue on the track. That has opened the gap to about 4.3 seconds between him and Barcy. We actually have a battle here for the 6th position between Henson and Joel Price there, but they're different class cars, so this should not be a very hard battle for them. We got Kirill is in the pits again. This will be his 2nd pit stop. I don't know. Technically, it'd be his 3rd because he had that stop-go 30, so I don't know if that counts as one or not, but we do see a yellow flag for Chase Tapper also. Steve just plows on by Joel there for the 6th position, which is expected, and Steve goes off the track, making a nice clean re-entry onto the track to not cause any issues. So your leader of the race tonight so far right now on lap number 18 is going to be Lopez, followed by Barcy Ludscombe for the GT3 class. And P5 overall is your GT4 leader of Marriage, followed by Joel Price in P7, but P2 in class, and Robbie Daniel there in P8 or P3 in class and P8 overall. So pretty darn good showing for those guys there in the GT4 class. I'm just really wondering if not having much full throttle on this track is helping the GT4s not be so overpowered. I mean, like next week we're racing at Spa, so there's probably going to be a pretty hefty difference in times between the 4s and the 3s. So, especially if you catch them on the Kemmel straight, you just blow right past them. Anywho, so as we are packing up our bags, we're going to go a couple, maybe 100 kilometers between Zolder and Spa-de-Francorchamps for the race next week. Feel free to join us there. That's actually going to make me interested to see how far they were away. No, come on, Dave. Just keep it on the track. Yep, so it looks like that cost Dave a little bit, but the gap between Barcy and Lenscombe actually has gone down to 3 seconds. Lenscombe does seem like he's got a little bit more pace. That last lap, he was nearly 2 seconds faster than Barcy. We're in a 33.5 for Barcy and a 31.76 for Lenscombe. It's going to be interesting to see what this lap is. Still a half-second difference. Lenscombe was half-second faster a lap, that last lap between the two. So feel free, again, don't forget to join us tomorrow, on Thursday night for the pro amateur class. Same time and place, racing in Zolder, and then we have our weekend European race. Then next week we're just packing up the bags. We're going 107 kilometers, roughly 65 miles or so, to Spa-de-Francorchamps there in Belgium also. So we're not going too far. We're going to still be eating waffles next week for another good race here with Odyssey Racing League. That gap between Barcy and Lenscombe has dropped down to, it was 2.8 seconds, but now it has moved back up to 3. And don't forget, we do have a Patreon, or Patron. I don't know how you pronounce it. Patreon, I believe, is how you're supposed to pronounce it. But we have 3 sponsors. One of them is actually in the race as we speak, but it's Neil Baravotes, Joel Price, and Joe Kaiser are our 3 Patreon supporters. Get your shout-outs, get cool stuff. Thank you guys for sponsoring and supporting the league. We have a yellow flag for Johnny DeMarchi. He is hanging out in the beach in the first chicane there, the Villeneuve, or second chicane, in the Villeneuve chicane on the track. He's just kind of hanging out. He just went. That seemed. What is going on here, pal? It was quite awkward that you just kind of went straight off the track. Controller disconnect. I can't change. I mean, I can. I got another 10 seconds for the replay to end. So we're going to go up to P1 here and watch Dave Lopez. He's got himself about a 32-second gap between him and P2. But that battle from realistically the overall, I don't know if he was actually diving into the pits at that point or if that was a mistake, but it worked out well for Lopez. So we're going to see how the battle for the P1 position ends here very quickly. Pereira has just fallen off a cliff there in the back. He's in P4, but his pace has just gone completely away from him. He was 2 seconds slower last lap than Lenscombe and Barcy. So I don't know if he just abused his tires there at the beginning and has ruined it for him. But let's go back up to Barcy to see this gap between him. And you see that little purple speck coming up behind him. That is going to be the P2 position. You can see that Lopez is moving into the pits, but Lopez will not be out of the pits in time for Lenscombe to assume that P2 position from him. The question is, where will Pereira be? And he is nowhere near him. So the good news for Lopez, that will keep him out there in the P3. But we have a yellow flag on the track for Lenscombe. What happened to Lenscombe on the track? We are in turn number 2. He was a little upset there coming out of the corner. I don't know why it went back that far. So let's see what happens. Lutzcombe has fallen to the P3 position overall. So we're in turn 1. He goes off the track, hits the curb. Everything looks fine. Into turn 2, just carried too much speed. Tokyo drifted around the corner, and you can't see him now. But he went off and went beach in there, so he has lost himself the P2 position. He's got a 3-second gap between him and Lopez now, and a GT4 between the two of them. So that was a very costly mistake, not only with just losing that position in P2, but he might have damaged his tires. That was a pretty healthy slide sideways there out. But I just realized that Dave Lopez and Robbie Daniel, but Dave Lopez in P2 has a stop go 30. That you kiss your lucky stars, or what? Pray to your lucky stars, I guess. There, Ian. You were saved by the pit police. Speeding in the pits, it seems like, for Lopez, unfortunately, as he is going into the pits to serve his penalty. We might have a GT4 on the podium tonight, guys. No, we won't. He is yet to pit. Yeah, I mean, things could happen. But impressive. We had 14 cars to start out. Now we're down to 12. We had a couple guys drop out. Looks like Johnny had an issue, and you saw him off the track. And I think Kirill must have left too. He was just, unfortunately, on the struggle bus majorly today. We have those type of races. Everybody has them. You got to learn from them. But, yeah, that's his little foray into the beach has cost him roughly about 11 seconds on track time between him and Barcy. Okay. Excuse me. It'd be interesting to see where that actually drops Robbie down to position-wise. With that 3-second stop go, he has yet to serve it. He's going to have to serve it pretty quick like. Excuse me. That's just a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. I was hoping we were going to have a battle there for the ages for the P1 position in this race. Let's just go ahead and take a peek at old Paul Mariage here. He is P6 overall, P1 in his group. He's got a 30-second lead. He's literally Max Verstapping it right now. On the track, we got a yellow flag on the track. Hansen's off the track. He's beached, and where is he at? Turn 12. That might allow. No, it's not going to allow him. I thought it was going to might allow Henson to lose the P5 position overall to Mariage, but everybody has pitted in this race, so no more pits to be done, barring catastrophic failures of eating the wall and carrying damages. So the field has straightened itself out. We don't have any GT4s beating GT3, so we got in your top 5 at GT3, we got Barcy, Lutzcombe, Pereira, Lopez, followed by Henson. Your leaders for the GT4 classes, Mariage, Price, Jensen, Helgert, Daniel, Charles, and Tapper rounding out your field. I will say, Tapper, let's actually watch him for a little bit here and give him some credit where credit's due. His best lap of this race is a 1:44.885. If you're not remembering, I believe he ran a 1:47 for his qualifying time. So getting these laps in, regardless if you're winning the race or if you're struggling, you can use every lap as a learning experience. So good for you, Chase, staying out there and grinding away. I envy you because your times have came down pretty good today. So keep it up. I'm very impressed with the hard work that you actually been doing. So good job, man. There's just the gaps are so big. We got Bonus and Robbie here battling it out for the last top 10 position. Actually, not a bad showing for Bonus there, if you're not mistaken. He got absolutely destroyed earlier in the race, and he stuck it out, and he was dead last. It's 4 positions, but 4 positions is 4 positions, and moving yourself into the top 10 is still moving yourself in the top 10. So our South African brethren is putting in the kilometers today. Looks like he's opening a gap. We do have Steve Henson's got a yellow flag again. He is around again, and now this is the turn 8, the Villeneuve chicane, that is not going to allow... why is the camera not going to him? Excuse me. That is not going to allow Mirage to catch him, but... I'm not going to lie. I was kind of pulling for... He's off the track again. Bollards everywhere. It's bollocks, guys. It's bollocks. Such huge gaps. The closest gap we have on the track here is going to be between Bonus and Robbie. It's just so tough to call these. I mean, I'm not going to lie, calling these when there's such big gaps, there's just not much going on other than lap traffic stuff. So if I wanted to do that, I can go to here and we can see this lap traffic, watching Darcy get himself around Drew Jensen there. Darcy's on 2 laps ahead of him. But it's just kind of tough. There's just not much going on. The gaps, I mean, the good news is there hasn't really been any carnage other than the beginning part of the race where we had to restart it. But tomorrow is going to be a different story. I can tell you that. There's going to be a lot more cars on the track tomorrow. So, Cryo, you can join Cryo and Reaper, and we'll be on the track tomorrow night. So, again, be sure to stop by and say hi and watch the race. Now, it wasn't I might jinx you a little bit here with 2.5 minutes to go, Barcy, but it wasn't a start to finish, flag to flag win race for you, but you had some problems there at the beginning. You battled your way through it. Terrible start on the second go around, and now you're here leading the race with 2 minutes to go. You're gonna have yourself another lap after this, so this is second to last lap for you. Dave Lopez has got a white flag. He is slow on the track for some reason, but we're just gonna watch our race leader Barcy here finish his last lap or two, and enjoy the sceneries from the beautiful historic Zolder Speedway there in Zolder, Belgium. So we got a minute and a half to go. So this will be his final lap. To be honest with you, if I was car number 230, Lopez, I would slow down, let him lap me one more time. That way I don't have to do another lap. Alright, so we got he has garnered himself a 21-second lead over Ludscombe there in P2, and then Eric Pereira there in P3. He's got a 16-second gap between him and Ludscombe for the top 3 positions in GT3, and overall the GT4 leader is Marriage, followed by Price and Jensen. Pretty healthy gaps between those guys too. But we are following and riding along with your race leader right now. That is Gary Barcy. I believe this is his first race with us. But through some trial and tribulation tonight, he started on the pole. However, he did not get a very good start and had to battle his way up through some traffic at the beginning of the race and hold on to that pretty good battle between him and Ludscombe and Pereira there at the beginning of the race for a few laps. But he did not succumb to the pressure. He came, he fought, he battled. He's going to, most likely, barring something crazy going on, his first victory with Odyssey Racing League, as he is going into turn 10 one final time through the S's. The Rinbot S's into the final chicane, the Jackie X chicane. And on to the start-finish straight. Your race winner tonight is going to be Gary Barcy in his Mercedes AMG GT3. And I'm trying to see where he is on the track compared to P2, which is going to be Ian Ludscombe. And Jackie chicane hitting the curbs, going a little bumping and bouncing a little bit. That will do it for him into the P2 position. We just saw Drew Jensen finish the race. That is going to be for the 8th position. Steve Henson is going to finish in the 5th position. Let's see here. We got car number 22 coming around. That is Eric Pereira. That is going to be your top 3, Barcy, Ludscombe, and Pereira for overall and class. Dave Lopez is going to finish in the P4 position. And Joel Price is going. Let's go back to, Paul Marriage crossing line for your GT4 winner tonight. P6 overall. That is going to be Paul Marriage. Joel Price is going to come into P2 for the GT4 class cars. Why is there a yellow flag for Lopez? Oh, he's just driving slow. But as we see Joel Price going through the final Jackie X chicane, turns 14 here, coming up. What are you doing, Lopez? You okay? I mean, I know you lapped him, but it doesn't make sense. I hope he finishes that daggum race. But as you see right here, we got P7 overall, Joel Price. That is going to finish the race off tonight. So your winner, Gary Barcy, followed by Ludscombe, Eric Pereira in GT3. GT4 leader and winner was Paul Marriage, followed by Joel Price and Drew Jensen. So 6th, 7th, and 8th overall. Bear with me one moment. Try to get a few drivers in for interviews. 1 second, guys.